Please rise, hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our veterans, our first responders, and our active military. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This evening, as we do each year, we have a presentation by our auditors of our annual audit report. So I'm going to call up, before we start our work session, I'm going to call up Mr. Barrett from Rincar, Vale and Barrett to give us our annual audit report. Mr. Barrett.
Thank you, Mayor and the board, for inviting us here tonight to review your audited financial statements for the year ending May 31st, 2025. And our audit confirms what you already know. The village is in excellent financial position. What I'm going to do now is introduce Alicia Zabala, Senior Manager at our firm, and she's been doing the audit for a couple of years, but she was involved very much with the audit this year. She's going to present the financial statements, and after her presentation, I'm going to have a few concluding remarks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Good evening. Thank you for having us present the audit report. If you turn to the table of contents, our independent auditors report is on pages 1 through 4, and the independent auditors report covers the village's basic financial statements, which is pages 13 through the end of the notes, page 65. GASB, which is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, requires all governments to present a management discussion and analysis. That's on pages 5 through 12, and also to present required supplementary information. The required supplementary information is on pages 66 through 71, and these schedules are budget to actual schedules for the general fund, budget to actual schedules for the water fund, and schedules for the village's other post-employment benefits and pension plans. On pages 72 to 74 is other supplementary information, which is not required by GASB, but the village presents a combined balance sheet and a combined statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for its non-major funds. The final schedule that we have is the schedule of cumulative revenues and expenditures for the capital projects fund. On pages 75 through 76, it's our independent auditors report in accordance with government auditing standards. I'll just read our opinion first. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the incorporated village of Mineola as of May 31st, 2025, and the respective changes in financial position for the year then ended in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles in the United States of America. I'd like to ask you to move, please, to page 5. Page 5 is the management discussion and analysis, which is required by GASB. It is it discusses the village as a whole, and it is intended to be uniform for all governments. It basically summarizes the financial statements for you. We're gonna now change ahead to page 13. Page 13 is the statement of net position. This is prepared on the full accrual basis of accounting. So on the full accrual basis of accounting, the village's capital assets and its long-term liabilities are presented. You will not find the capital assets or long-term liabilities in the fund's financial statements. The village's capital assets are $70,229,000, and its total long-term liabilities is $96,982,000. Currently, the village shows a net position deficit of $8,795,000, but many governments have a deficit net position because on the full accrual basis, you're recording all of the liabilities of the village, which are not funded currently. The next page, page 14, is basically the village's income statement on the full accrual basis of accounting. The village's net position increased $7,939,000, which then the ending net position balance is $8,794,000. The most important pages are on page 15 and 17. These are on the modified accrual basis of accounting. This is how the village maintains its books and records. Currently, the village has three major funds: the general fund, the water fund, and the capital projects fund. And then there are non-major funds, which is the library, community development, and the pool fund. Going to concentrate more on the major funds. The general fund total assets increased $2,957,000. This increase was mainly due to an increase in cash. The total liabilities for the general fund increased $742,000, mainly due to an increase in accounts payable, which is related to roadwork invoices that were paid after year end. The general fund fund balance consists of non-spendable prepaids for $21,000 and restricted fund balance for the fire service award of $5,012,000. The assigned fund balance in the general fund is $2,933,000. Included in that is encumbrances of $2,381,000 and amounts appropriated for the subsequent year's budget of $552,000. The remaining fund balance in the general fund is unassigned fund balance for $12,847,000. This is approximately 5.8 months of your current year's expenditures, which is a very healthy fund balance. The water fund total assets increased $3,921,000, and this was mainly due to increases in cash and receivables. Total liabilities in the water fund increased $132,000 due to increases in accrued liabilities. Your water fund fund balance is $3,018,000, which is approximately 9 months of current year's expenditures. The capital projects fund has a fund balance of $8,355,000, and this represents unspent bond proceeds that you'll use for your ongoing projects. Please go ahead to page 17. Page 17 is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for the governmental funds. And here we have the three major funds: general, water, capital projects, and the non-major funds to the right. The general fund revenues increased $2,700,000. This increase is mainly in license and permits category, $1.6 million, and an increase in fines and forfeitures for $917,000. The village also received funds from Nassau County relating to ARPA, and that was $366,000. Total expenditures in the general fund increased $2,564,000. The main increase was in transportation line, which is for road work. It was about $3,381,000 increase over the prior year. Culture and recreation decreased $1,300,000. In the prior year, the village renovated improvements to Wilson Park, and this year the village did not do that. Overall, the general fund fund balance increased $2,534,000, leaving an ending fund balance of $20,813,000 in the general fund. The water fund revenues increased $961,000, and that relates to increases in water rents received and increase in sale of property and other compensation for loss. Water fund expenditures increased approximately $179,000 due to increases in debt service costs for the new bonds. Overall, the fund balance in the water fund increased $1,098,000, leaving an end-in fund balance of $3,018,000. The capital projects fund varies from year to year. Currently, the decrease in fund balance of the capital projects fund was $3,985,000, and that is due to planned spending on your projects using the bond monies. All the way at the right-hand side of our page, we have at the bottom, the net change in all fund balances is a reduction of $357,000, leaving you with a total fund balance across all funds for $32,534,000. Please turn to page 19. Pages 19 to 65 are the notes to the financial statements. Page 19 to 31 is note number 1, which describes all of the village's significant accounting policies. We're going to move ahead and go to page 38. Okay, on page 38, we have the capital asset activity for the year for the village. Currently, the construction in progress increased approximately $5 million, and this increase is due to ongoing water facility improvement projects that have not been placed in service yet. Other increases in capital assets would be improvements other than buildings for $232,000, and the village replaced playground equipment and playground turf. Machinery and equipment increased $806,000 for various vehicles and equipment. Overall, the total net capital assets of accumulated depreciation is $70,229,000. The next page, page 39, will detail the village's long-term liabilities. In the middle half of the page, you start a table. Serial bonds payable decreased $995,000. The remaining bonds payable, serial bonds payable, is $39,650,000. Premiums on bonds decreased $68,000, leaving a balance of $1,791,000. Judgments and claims decreased $142,000, and judgments and claims include workers' comp liabilities and tax certs. Compensated absences increased $32,000 for an ending balance of $2,429,000, and the various lease and submittal liabilities decreased $58,000, resulting in an ending balance of $121,000. Please skip ahead to page 44. Page 44 starts the note on pension plans. The village currently has 2 pension plans. One is with the New York State Employees Retirement System, and then they also sponsor a fire service award program. The liabilities are actuarially determined, and they're approximately $10,539,000 for the 2 pension plans. Now I'd like to skip ahead to page 58. Page 58 details the village's other post-employment benefits plan. This also is a liability that is actuarially determined. It's approximately $43,705,000. Page 66 is the village's budget to actual schedule for the general fund. This schedule details the village's original budget, revised budget, and actual revenues and expenditures for the general fund. The village spent 100% of its revised budget. Actual revenues exceeded revised budgeted revenues by $2,534,000, and the increases in the actual revenues over revised budget was an increase in the use of money and property category, which includes interest income. It's $1,026,000. License and permits increased $652,000 over the revised budget, and fines and forfeitures increased $464,000 over the revised budget. Federal aid also increased $366,000 over the revised budget. The next page, page 67, is the budget to actual for the water fund. This schedule also details the village's original budget, revised budget, and actual revenues and expenditures for the water fund. The village spent 100% of the water fund's revised budget. Actual revenues exceeded revised budgeted revenues by $1,099,000. The increases in the actual revenues over revised budget were an increase in departmental income, which is water rents, and an increase in sale of property and other compensation for loss for $271,000. Pages 68 through 71 are required supplementary information for the village's pension plans and OPEB plans. The final page that I would like to discuss is page 74. This is the village's schedule of cumulative revenues and expenditures capital projects fund. This is a detailed schedule of the current capital projects. Currently, the village has projects for water facility improvements to wells 1, 4, 6, and 7, and finishing off the new fire headquarters. The capital projects fund balance remaining is $8,355,000, and you'll see in the schedule by project how much is available. Page 75 is our independent auditor's report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters based on an audit of the financial statements performed in accordance with government auditing standards. During our audit, we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we considered to be material weaknesses. And the results of our test disclose no instances of noncompliance or other matters that are required to be reported under government auditing standards. Finally, we are required to communicate to the village board the significant audit findings. During the year, the village adopted new accounting pronouncements, GASB 101, for compensated absences. The financial statements include estimates relating to capital assets, total other post-employment benefits liability, and pension liabilities. We encountered no significant difficulties in dealing with management in performing and completing our audit. Professional standards require us to accumulate all known and likely misstatements, and these misstatements have been corrected. We are pleased to report that no disagreements with management arose during the course of our audit. That concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
No, that was very thorough. You're welcome back, Mr. Barry. It was nice knowing you. And, I assume you were passing the baton.
Yes, I'd like to turn it over to Bill to wrap
All
up
right.
the presentation.
You got big shoes to fill. That was very thorough. Thank you so much. Very nice. Thank you.
I have this schedule.
I just didn't like the part where you said that you liked working with management and there were no issues and all that.
No disagreements, no disagreements. I have this schedule which deals with just the funds, the general fund, water fund, library, and pool funds. And I'm going to review that. I did not do the statement net position. Statement net position, as Alicia had said, includes items that make it comparable to IBM, school districts. They're all recorded on colleges. They're all recorded on a full accrual basis of accounting. And there's two big liabilities that you really don't have any control over. You can't do anything. You're not allowed to fund the other post-employment benefits, and even if you could, I don't know how you would. And then the same thing with the employees' retirement system, the underfunding that gets allocated to the village of Mineola. You have no control over that. And that's, as Alicia said, is the reason why you have net positions.
That's going up this year, right? Our
The
contributions?
employees' retirement
Right.
system, yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's going up.
But I hear the stock market's doing great, so it's hard for a layperson like me to understand that, but we have no, as you said, we have no choice.
You have no control.
No-
You have
no
no
control.
control. So, but what I put together here, and we're accountants and we love numbers, so as you can see, we put them all on here. But we started with 2017 because that's just what would fit on the page. But the remaining 8 years for the general fund, and on all these funds, what I would like to say is, what I see is consistency, just consistency. So in 2017, your total revenues in the general fund were $20,880,000, and they increased an average of 4.38%, 4.375% to $28 million. But your real estate taxes, the average increase during that 8-year period is 1.36%. So how did you get to 4.375? There's the use of money and property, licenses and permits, fines and forfeitures, and host community benefits, made the increase.
I mean, I looked at that, and we're looking at this here, but in 2017, about 14 million is coming in from real property taxes, and in 25, which is 9 years later, it was just over 15 million.
Right.
But yet, we went from 21 million
Right.
to 28 million.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct. And your fund balance has increased. Way back, if you go to the bottom right-hand corner, at June 1st, 2016, the beginning fund balance was $9,778,000. Now it's $20,813,000. A lot of that, 5 million is restricted for the firemen,
Right.
you know, but your unassigned fund balance, as Alicia said, is 5.8 months at
Months,
May.
right.
If you go back to 2017, it's not a whole lot different. It's 4.7 months, you know,
Right.
so. And in these times with the federal government turning the spigot, making it a little bit tighter, less money coming from the federal government, and I think there's gonna be less money coming from the state, you're in, as I said before, you're in excellent financial condition to handle should something adverse come about. Water fund, very similar, okay? Fund balance at June 1st, 16 was $1,235,000. Now it's $3,018,000. We had a legal settlement that's gonna continue, but 2 months of that, the 2 payments, right? The first 2 payments are in here, right? The December,
Yeah.
and the June payments are in here as recorded as revenue, and the rest, because it's the fund accounting, will be recognized when it's available. And then the library fund and the pool fund have fund balances that are adequate too, and they're supported by the general fund. And in conclusion, we have to thank Mr. Ciccone and his staff. We ask a lot of questions, and they're very, very cooperative and very, very efficient, and we really appreciate all their efforts during our audit.
Good job, Jacques.
Very much so. And that concludes what I have to say. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to
Deputy
answer.
Mayor, any questions?
No, thank you very much. That was very comprehensive, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Barrett,
Yes,
tell Mr. Renko I said hi.
I will, Paul.
My
Thank you.
annual request.
Oh, well, I will.
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Great.
Have a good
Bye-bye now.
night.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for approval of bills and payroll.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Rivera.
Good evening. Resolved to approve a request by the Mineola Athletic Association for the use of the Village Hall Community Center Auditorium to conduct its winter soccer practices and clinics Sundays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., January 11th through March 15, 2026.
I mean, I don't know why they can't go outside during that time.
I don't know, is that wrong?
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, seconded by trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve a request by the County Seat Kiwanis Club for the use of the Village Hall Community Center Saturday, January 31st, 2026, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday, February 1st, 2026, from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. to conduct its annual pancake breakfast.
Okay, that's an annual request. I'll entertain a motion. Motion. Motion by trustee Clark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I have one personnel item. Resolved to approve request by Christopher Benson, Ariana Halpern, and Julio Vigario to execute the employee health benefit buyback option pursuant to the collective bargaining agreement.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chacon, man of the hour. Here we go. A lot of resolutions.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, John G.
Good evening.
The first item is resolved that the Board of Trustees accepts and adopts the audit report of the Justice Court for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2025, as prepared and submitted by the village's independent outside auditors.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The second one is resolved that the Board of Trustees accepts and adopts the audit report relative to financial statements of the governmental activities, each major fund, the aggregate remaining fund information of the village for the fiscal year ended May 31st, 2025, as prepared and submitted by the village's independent outside auditors.
That's what we just heard. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is resolved to approve a transfer in fiscal year 25-26 from the capital projects fund to the general fund an amount of $551,900 $956.72 in reference to the Mineola Fire Department Headquarters Serial Bonds 2021 Series A. The $551,956.72 in the general fund will be used to pay down the debt for the Mineola Fire Department Headquarters Serial Bonds 2021 Series A.
Right, I was gonna ask you to explain that, then I didn't see that second part, but yes, that's what we're doing with the money left over. We're basically starting to pay down that bond. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion?
Motion by trustee Casado, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is resolved to authorize the following service award one-time actuarial equivalent lump sum payout from the Fire Service Award Fund to the following Mineola Fire Department volunteer firemen pursuant to the Length of Service Award effective January 1st, 2026. The person is James Sherry.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion?
Motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Casado, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The last item is resolved to authorize the following service award payment for the Fire Service Award to the following Mineola Fire Department volunteer firefighter pursuant to the Length of Service Award Program effective January 1st, 2026, and the person is William Simonton.
Entertain a motion by trustee Casado, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Palumbo. Before you start, Mr. Palumbo, I just want to, I believe on behalf of the board, want you to please take back to your department, DPW, sanitation, parks, and everyone for the amazing job that they did this weekend, not only at the Fall Festival, but also at the Mineola High School Band Home Show, kind of dividing and conquering. It was an amazing job on both ends, so please convey this board's appreciation for the work that they do every day, but particularly when you have hundreds, if not thousands of people coming into the village on two separate parts of the village, and the way that we managed that, the way that we kept the park clean, the streets clean and safe, and all of that. So it was really a Herculean effort, so thank you. Appreciate
You're welcome.
that.
Yeah, we have a really good crew going, so they're getting the job done.
Excellent.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just one item. Resolve to award the public bid for the 2025 Memorial Park drainage contract to the lowest responsible bidder. The contractor is Valenti Contracting Corp. The cost is $135,000, and the funding source will be the 2025-2026 general fund and/or the unreserved general fund balance.
Okay, so this is to remedy the flooding, occasional flooding that we get at Memorial Park right in front of the stage, that area where we all set up. And it's not gonna be that complicated. We're gonna put in some drainage, and it will be able to drain better, because as we've always said, that part of the park was a lake, and it always wants to be a lake. It wants to go back to what it was. So hopefully this will mitigate those flooding issues that we have, especially closer to the stage, and we wanted to make sure we worked with Mr. Palumbo and the contractor to time this so that they start after the holiday Winter Fest, so that we will be ready to rock and roll, no pun intended, come May.
June, yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gibbons?
I don't have anything, Mayor.
Nothing? Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to close the work session.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Clark, second by Deputy Mayor Sartori, and we're gonna go right into our public meeting since it is after 7 o'clock. Again, I mentioned just moments ago the tremendous success of our fall festival. 2 amazing days, a lot of planning goes into this. We started, talking about this at the beginning of the year, if not at the end of last year. You may have noticed or not noticed that we increased our festivals from 1 day to 2 days. We had 2 gorgeous days, 2 very successful days. So from our clerk's office, Clerk Rivera, Deputy Clerk Pardo, to our event planner, LI Pop-Up, and of course to our DPW and our ambulance, our auxiliary police. It's a team effort, and it was just, I mean, resident after resident, visitor after visitor, came up to us and said what fun it was. So we have one more left. That will be in December. That's our Winterfest. We're looking to add some more things from last year, and we're hoping to make this, you know, just bigger and better each year. But it certainly makes us proud to be able to have these ideas, put the pieces in place, and then see it all come together on those days. So great job by everyone involved. Deputy Mayor?
Good evening. I just wanted to remind everybody that this Friday night here in Village Hall will be our annual Halloween party. There's food, there's plenty of candy, there's music, there's rides, there's tons of fun for all the kids, both young and old. So dress up, and you need to have your Village Leisure Pass to get into the party. But we will all be there, and we look forward to seeing you guys dressed up to celebrate the holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Casado?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo your remarks regarding the festival this past weekend. Another great event for our village. And again, a shout out to Mother Nature who gave this great weather during this
Good to
weekend.
us.
And you know, I didn't attend Saturday, but I did attend Sunday. And during that afternoon, Trustee Skolasky and I judged the pie eating contest. And Mayor, you know what?
I saw it, yeah.
So, you know what? So we're gonna present a trophy to the winner, but maybe we need to present a trophy to the person with the messiest face. And you know what?
There were a few of those.
Blueberry pie. Donna, it was a mess, right?
The kids were a mess. The kids were a mess.
And then last night, Trustee Skolasky and I attended the monthly meeting of our Mineola Chamber of Commerce. October is Fire Prevention Month, and as in the past, last night the Chamber used that theme to invite our first responders to their meeting. We had the Volunteer Fire Department, our Volunteer Ambulance Corps, MVAC, and our Volunteer Auxiliary Police, who made a presentation on how they operate. It was a great, great informative meeting. And I want to emphasize what they emphasized. These members are all volunteers. And you know what? They're looking for people to join up. And then again, speaking about our Chamber of Commerce, I want to go back to our October 18th meeting, or October 8th meeting, when Deputy Mayor Sartori spoke about that Women's Chamber of Commerce meeting. 5 of those women were at that meeting last night, and they spoke volumes about how successful it was. And I think they're having a meeting in January.
Yes,
And you know, it's going to be a good thing.
it is, definitely.
Excellent. Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Clark?
No report.
Thank you. Trustee Salaski?
I just want to remind the residents of the Village Veterans Day ceremony. I know it's still October, but on the 11th, 11 o'clock at Memorial Park. If you could attend, please do. Thank you.
Thank you. And one event that the village is doing in conjunction with Legislator Strauss is on Sunday, November 2nd at 1:30 p.m. We are honoring Tony Catalano, who you may remember just a few short years ago, we celebrated his 100th birthday. Well, it's his 105th birthday.
Wow.
He's a World War II veteran. And so we're going to be doing a car parade on Sally or Nancy? Nancy, on Nancy, right essentially on Herrick's and Nancy. So come on down, it's open to the public if you'd like to wish Mr. Catalano a happy birthday. Again, it's November 2nd, Sunday, 1:30. We're gonna have some vintage military vehicles go by, of course, the fire department, first responders, Boy Scouts, and everyone else to wish Mr. Catalano a happy 105th birthday. He's still very, very sharp, and I'm looking forward to that event.
So Mayor, where do we line up for this?
So the cars are going to line up over by Chaminade, but people who are walking, we're actually going to line up at Clarissa Road. But essentially, if you're just walking there, you can just go to the corner of Herrick's, and that literally his house is one house in. So you'll see the crowds. We'll have the Boy Scouts will be lined with American flags, and only the vehicles have to assemble over by Chaminade, and they'll come down Jericho Turnpike again. We're working with Legislator Strauss' office, our clerk's office, and Chief Spay from the auxiliary police, coordinating the traffic, really just for the vehicles, but then after that, we'll stick around. I'm sure there will be cake. There'll be cake, okay? And I just do want to mention that last week, the board here attended the Nassau County Village Officials Association 100th Anniversary Gala, and it was a great way to recognize the work that NCVOA does. Nassau County has 64 villages. We by far have the most villages in the state of New York. I think that that's something that most people that live in a village are proud of. We like our local control. We like our home rule. It started out with 4 villages in 1925, and now all 64 villages are members of the NCVOA. So we were glad to be able to participate, recognizing the 100th anniversary of that great organization. Anybody else? No? Okay. With that, I'll what? Oh, okay. So our next meeting is going to be the 12th? 5th,
Of course,
okay.
the 4th.
Right. So November 4th, of course, is Election Day. It's important that you go out and
Get
vote.
out
We
and
have local elections. This will be the last year that non-village elections will be in an odd year. I believe starting next year, all elections above the village level will be even years. So there's an election this year for town and county, and there will be an election next year as well for town. So that's November 4th. Please go out and vote. November 5th is our next meeting, but because of Election Day, Village Hall is closed, so there will be a sanitation schedule. And as Trustee Solosky mentioned, on Tuesday, November 11th, which is Veterans Day, we'll have our annual ceremony. And again, there'll be a special sanitation schedule for that week as well. Any questions? Make sure you check the flyer you got at home, social media, text messages, email, or just call, okay? Anything else? Nope?
No.
All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to close the public meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Clark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Great night, everyone.